Hi.
Hello guys, if you're brand new to my channel, my name is Nikki and this is my book nook. Y'all, today we are talking about It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This book has been absolutely dominating my For You page on TikTok for the last, I would say, 2 months. I swear for a while there, every other book talk I was seeing was including this book, recommending this book, talking about it. And I don't know what it was. Something about the cover, like, I don't know if it was like the way the girl was dressed. I was just like, I don't feel like that's gonna be for me. Like, I'm just not getting great vibes from it. I don't know, I think I'll just pass. I wasn't feeling it, even though people were raving about it over and over. And then finally, somebody mentioned in a TikTok that this book was inspired by Schitt's Creek. The plot, the storyline, the main character, the whole sort of concept was inspired by the show Schitt's Creek. And I was just like, add to cart. I am a massive Schitt's Creek fan. I mean, like, literally, who isn't? That show is absolutely hilarious, and that's what drew me into that show, you know? It was funny. I think that's why everyone watched it in the beginning. But then in the end, like, it really taught us all a great message, and I feel like this book did the exact same thing. I can't believe I held out on this book so long because I absolutely loved it. So as always, if I love a book, I'm not gonna give away full-on spoilers in this video, but I'm totally gonna talk to you guys about it, and I can't wait because it was just so good. So this book follows a girl named Piper Bellinger. She is basically a socialite. She is a celebrity that is famous for being famous. Her stepfather is a huge movie maker in Hollywood, and she has just kind of grown up very like Serena van der Woodsen, Jenner-esque. Like, she just is famous for her social media, for going to parties, for having a famous stepfather. Like, that's just what she's known for. And Piper is really just kind of like out of touch with reality. She really hasn't had to work a day in her life. She's 27 or 28 now, and the story basically starts out, she kind of goes through a breakup, her longest relationship ever, which is 3 weeks, and to kind of get back at the guy, to blow off some steam, Piper throws this massive party, and it ends up being this whole spectacle. It's all over the news, and her stepdad is pissed. Like, he is so upset. Like, this was not a good PR move. Like, people are threatening to back out of his movie. Like, she's really messed up this time. And he pretty much as punishment tells Piper that she needs to step back. She needs to get out of LA. She needs some time to get in touch with reality, learn some responsibility, figure out what it's like to actually be an adult for 5 minutes. So basically, as punishment, he's going to send her off for 3 months to live in this very small town in Washington. It is called Westport. It is a fishing town. It is where her father grew up. It is where her mother met her father. He was a fisherman there, and he basically owned this bar. He passed away when Piper was very young. She has like very few memories of him. I think she was like 3. There's just not much of her to go off of. Her entire life has really been in LA, in this spotlight, around just rich, wealthy people. Like, she knows nothing of actually being a part of the working class and just living a normal life where like your entire existence isn't just attached to a credit card that you can just swipe. So yeah, Piper's father owned this bar in Westport, and it really has been like abandoned for a long time. So her stepfather is basically sending her there, and she's going to live in the bar. There's like living quarters above it, and she has to be there for 3 months. She has to figure something out. He's gonna give her a very small budget in the beginning, but essentially he's like cutting her off. This is kind of like a get it together sister kind of moment, and she is appalled, does not want to go, is like, how could you do this to me? Like, her entire existence is like social media and being in with this crowd of people that are all just like really fake, that don't even like each other anyways. But she's like, I can't leave for 3 months. That's like 10 years in the social media world. Like, this just isn't gonna happen. He says, you have no choice. You have to go or I'm cutting you off. And so her sister Hannah agrees to go with her. Her sister Hannah is super different from her. She's younger. She went to school. She now has a job. I mean, she still lives like this rich, wealthy lifestyle, but she's way more in touch, down to earth than Piper is. She hasn't lived this like socialite sort of thing. She's kind of rejected all of that. She's not on social media, but Hannah is amazing. I love Hannah so much. But so Hannah agrees to go with Piper because she's like, you're never gonna survive there on your own. I'm gonna go with you. It's just 3 months. I can work remotely. It'll be fine. So Piper shows up in Westport, and this book quickly switches from Piper's perspective to Brendan's perspective. Brendan is a guy that has lived in Westport his entire life. He is a fisherman, and he is basically in the bar when Piper shows up. This bar has been abandoned for a long time. It was her father's bar, but ever since he passed away, the people of the town have kind of just taken the bar over. They call it No Name. They all kind of just supply the alcohol there. Nobody really truly runs it, but everyone just kind of hangs out there. It's a mess. It's a pigsty. There's no like order to it whatsoever. It's not very legal what's going on there, but people just use it as like a local hangout basically. And so we see from Brendan's perspective when Piper shows up, and it's very clear like she does not belong here. You know, it's very Schitt's Creek. Like she shows up wearing like these sparkly sequin outfits, like it's like where's the butler, where's the maid service, whatever, and it's like just clearly she does not know what she's doing at all. And so Brendan right away does not take to her. He's like, who? I mean, she's obviously like this very like beautiful girl, but he's just like, you know, he frowns upon her. He's like, this girl is gonna come in here and try to like take over this bar, take over this town. She doesn't know anything. Like she doesn't understand like they're a family in this small town, and that's not something that she can appreciate. She's never worked for anything, and he knows that she's just like spoiled and rich and rotten, and he pretty much just like wants her out of the town basically. So that's kind of how the story starts off. Piper and Brendan do not get off to a very good start. Again, very Schitt's Creek. Hannah and Piper having to live above the bar in like this super tiny room. Like it's all one room, like the bathroom, the kitchen, everything is in one room. There's like a tiny room divider. It's like culture shock. Her world is ending. Like, what is this? She has no idea what's going on, but she just has to make do. And her and Hannah kind of decide that they're gonna fix up the bar, and she's just literally learning how to be an adult. Like Piper's like never cooked before, never had to clean, and she runs into Brendan several times throughout this book in the beginning because like, again, it's a very small town. They do not get along initially. He thinks she's spoiled, but at the same time cannot deny that he's attracted to her, which he hates. So it starts out with a lot of angst, a lot of tension. Piper is a character that is very out of touch, and that is frustrating to read in the beginning, but like very quickly she learns, she picks things up. Piper is not the airhead that she has pretended to be for so long. I mean, whenever she has to make do with something, she's able to do it, and she wants to be able to fend for herself. And she really has the biggest heart. Like she cares so much about people. She's always been around a group of people that don't care about anybody, but now being in this town, which she initially kind of turns her nose up at, like doesn't want to be there, she slowly starts to realize that there's so many people here that really do truly care about each other. And you know, she really learns to take pride in like this bar. Like she's actually put some work into it, and she's seeing things, you know, come to fruition. And she's never been in a committed relationship, and she's never had even the time to actually care about someone or the commitment to them. And it's not even really her. Like she wants that commitment, but everybody just treats her as like a fleeting social media post, you know, just someone that they can get more clout off of. Nobody's really like put the time to get to know Piper in. And Brendan does that. As much as he doesn't initially want to, they spend more time together and feelings start to form, and it's a very scary thing for Piper because it's like, wait, you actually care about me? This isn't how this works. Like this is just temporary. Oh, and I'm going back to LA in 3 months. And it's just this whole thing. It's so good. That's really all I can say without giving away like straight up what happens in the book, but it's a slow, I would say it's a slow burn, but not quite. I mean, because you're getting both perspectives, so you can see like they fall for each other early on, but it's just like there's a lot of deep-rooted stuff that each of them have, issues that they have, stuff they have to work through, and it is so good. Brendan is absolutely everything. This book made me laugh out loud. It made me want to tear up. The story to it was so good. The character development, the relationship building. It was really like a true rom-com in that it was funny, it was entertaining, but it had a great message to it. And if you wouldn't have told me it was inspired by Schitt's Creek, I don't know that I would have like thought that, but knowing that and reading it, it was done perfectly, like 100%. This book was inspired by Schitt's Creek. Piper is Alexis Rose, 100%, but it was done so well. Like Tessa Bailey did not try to overdo it. She didn't try to make it like straight up the same story. Like there's enough differences that it's not just like a straight up copy or rip off, but it's the same sort of like sentiment. It's the same kind of general idea of a rich person that loses everything and has to go live like the small town folk do, and that gains an appreciation for the things that really matter and sees that social media and all this crap is just not what's important at the end of the day, and just the whole like found family kind of trope. It's all in there. It's all so good. I didn't even mention this yet, but this book is so spicy. Like when things get down to it, was reading this book on a plane and I was like, oh my God, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's so good. Brendan. That's all I'll say. Freaking Brendan. I love this book so much. I gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars. I can't believe I'm saying that. I've been handing out a lot of 5 stars recently, which I do not do, but I adored this book. It was so good. I totally recommend it. If you've been thinking about reading it, do it. If you're a rom-com fan, if you're a Schitt's Creek fan, you'll love it. It was a great time. But yeah, if y'all read It Happened One Summer, let me know all your thoughts down below. I'm totally gonna read more stuff by Tessa Bailey because I absolutely adored this book. I've already ordered Tools of Engagement. If you guys have any other recommendations specifically of hers, let me know because she has written, I counted it up, like 40 something books. Craziness. Let me know your favorites and I'll totally add them to my list. But yeah, I think that is it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will talk to y'all very soon. Bye.